After waiting almost a month, thank you US Customs. My gauge is here from Classic EVO Gauge in the Netherlands. Unboxing time. So, insulated box, how to get the instructions, some hardware, the gauge, and the brain. So let's go take the instrument cluster out of the bus and get started on this. Instructions do say that you need to remove the steering wheel. So I've already got my clips out, my levers off. So I've always been able to just flip it forward, and then I can just disconnect everything and then slide this out through the side. It's a lot easier than pulling the wheel for no reason. So let's get this out and get it on the table for surgery. So a little update, as you can see, I did not remove it. I forgot how I did this last time. I just slid it forward, and you can take out the screws and just remove the pod you need to work with, leaving most of it intact. Makes it a little bit easier. That way you do not have to connect some of those smaller wires that are way down there that have probably been never disconnected. All right, got it out. So let's talk about how we ended up here. My fuel gauge quit working, shocker. Thought it was the sending unit, and later in the video you'll see what I did for that. Wasn't the sending unit, so then I thought it was the vibrator. Well, the vibrator was bad because I took this one apart, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the little tiny wire right there broke. What I suspect happened when my voltage regulator went bad, it burned it up. Simple as that. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Probably cut and edit this all together. So I have a Smith Speedo, so I'm not going to take that out. I also need to get my cells put back in right here because last time I was in here I messed them up. So in the directions that I'm actually using, yeah, I'm not really supposed to take this off, but I need to because I need to fix those. So I'm just going to pop this off. This piece has never actually been off, so I'm not going to take it off. But yeah, after I put in the new fuel gauge, tested the wire, played with it, changed the vibrator, this worked for about 2 seconds, and then it stopped working. So I can already tell someone had been in here with nail polish before. I wish they repopped these. So yeah, that was that. But everything I tried, I could not make it work. But this vibrator right here and my fuel sending unit, I connected to a Beetle fuel gauge I have in the toolbox. My 1968 only Beetle fuel gauge, and it worked just fine. Everything worked as expected. So that's when I figured out that this was destroyed too, apparently. Now you can see loose wires in here when I was taking it out. Previous Joseph that wasn't paying attention obviously did not use care in disassembling. Okay, so that screw does hold that one. So it looks like you do have to take this off. I don't want to, but I'm going to. Maybe I don't have to take it all the way out, just loosen it enough. And of course, looks like I have the camera in the absolute worst position. Let me move you up just a little bit here. I guess I should look through the instructions. Remove that, do this. Okay, this is done for right now. So now the next step is to use a screwdriver a file and then a screwdriver to remove the rivets. You reuse your face, and normally I just say, oh yeah, whatever, and drill it, but I don't want to mess it up, and I don't have another one. Success! We have part of a file. Alright, this is going to be a long, slow process of being very careful, so I'll come back to you when that's done. Okay, we're back. Face is removed. It was as easy as it said. Get that out of the way. Now, looking inside here, from what I can tell, it does look like there is, well, I don't really care if I break it. I'm not sure if it's broken or if it's that overlap in that wire right there, because they wrap around uniformly with no overlap except right here at the very edge. Other than that, it looks like this should still be fully functional. But, oh well, didn't work. So now you have the face, and it does need to be cleaned, so I will hit it. I don't know how that happened inside. I will touch it up before it goes back together. Now we refer to the directions, so face is off. Done with all those pages. So now you take your new gauge, and inside the package are 2 T6 torque screws that are used to secure it. Harry, I don't know why you use T6 on these, but okay. So, on removing the rivets, by the way, after I filed them down, I did use a punch to help punch them out. But, good, no longer my problem. Okay, let's slide it off. So when you look through there, there are LEDs in here for your different color indicators that this gauge allows for. I'm going to leave it set right there in the middle. I'm not going to touch it until I touch it and mess it up. And I'm going to use the box to help straddle it. And I'm going to find my driver. Just set up here. Or I'm just going to drop it repeatedly. Alright, there we go. Oh, another thing that was interesting. You know, the old gauge did work off of heat, but wow. It's all pre-drilled. This is a very fine quality looking product he has built here. And once this is in, my whole instrument cluster, except for this piece right here, will all be something different. Smith's tack where the clock would be. Smith's speedo. Now I do have for my indicator lights, yeah, you can see them right there. Even though it's still got the green lens over it, I have red LEDs in there. Any of y'all that want to comment that were in the Navy of how you slept on ships with red lights, you will know why I have red in there. I tried white, I tried green, I tried blue. And since they're not dimmable, you get blinded at night with the any other color. The red doesn't bother you. All right, looky there. Looks like a bus fuel gauge now. Also notice in here, I'm gonna go ahead and dig it out. That's a very familiar looking part. Just not as thick. Obviously, this takes up more room. Now the fun part. If this wasn't fun enough, now I have to drill. That's actually what the 4x4 is here for. Alright, that's put together. It says it wants me to put this thing on there. And it tells me it wants me to remove the speedometer. I would remove the speedometer. Honestly, I would think about it. Okay, this is saying to make them go down. Okay, they'll go down. Until they don't. But they'll go like that right now. I'm not going to remove it because I've got all these wires to go to my speedometer. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it on my 4x4 here and drill that way. I'm not doing all this. If I mess it up, I mess it up. That's on me. I am going to go ahead and reconnect this wire. So I power my speedometer lights off the same ones. If you can see in there, I took out the bulb, so when they come from Smith's, they take the same bulbs. You just take them out and pop you the same LED in there. Same thing on the tack, so that's why I'm red all the way across. Really should figure out how to hold this where I'm actually showing instead of just talking. Okay. So it looks like then I'm going to have a fun time marking this and drilling this. So it doesn't really mark the position where the 10.5 millimeter hole for cable entry is to be drilled. Marking hole seen from inside of gauge plate. So it is 1.5 inches from the middle of this. Yeah, that ain't 1.5 inches. Harry, what kind of ruler did you use here? Okay, that's 1.5 millimeters. Or centimeters? Let me just look at the next picture. Yeah, it goes right there. I'm going to be like pudding. I'm going to eagle eye it. Alright, straight up there. And then you got that right there. That's where it's going. If it's wrong, pudding's fault. So in America, we can't get 10.5mm drill bits. But you can get a 13/32 that is 10.3. The next size up was 10.7. Let me look at this. Yeah, that looks right. Pilot hole. Awesome. Totally bent it. Whatever. Workspace clean. Probably lost stuff everywhere. All right. Bag of parts. Grommet. That of course is going to be too big or too small, depending on how you look at it. Yep. All right. I gotta make the hole bigger. Oh, I got a big drill bit. What is this one? 7/16? It's bigger. Here's where the purists cringe. Someone says, oh, you're going to tear it up, you're going to tear it up. Yeah, whatever. Guess what? If I do, I'll just buy me another one. Oh, hey, look, I did knock that loose. Could take that out all the way and actually have full brights now. Bright indicator. Okay. Little piece of debris. Good thing I got a file. Here's the block. Got it. Put this side down. This will be easier. So I say. No. How'd you end up way over there? Probably someone with a drill. Got crap everywhere now. Alright. Now I bet that grommet doesn't fit. Oh, it's some weird European size. That's the excuse I'm going with, but just out of curiosity. Okay, they will fit through that hole. I don't know if they're gonna fit through the grommet. I guess I could check that, huh? Oh, yeah, I'll get them through there. Put that light back in so it's not flopping around. But just grommet it in. There we go. It's probably one of the few spots on my bus that has a wire penetration that actually put a grommet in properly. Oh, you're sitting on the directions. Get y'all off there. All right. Drill a hole. Get all your little loose parts out. Okay, got it. Put the extra screw. You know, that was nice of you to include 2 extra screws and heat shrink. That was very nice. Okay, so install grommet seems to be after you put the wires in. Whatever. All right, so I'm not gonna run those down. I'm gonna run them over. It's wrong. I'm sure Harry's the one that makes these, by the way. It's when you email him, it's Harold, but you see on the directions, if you go look at this on the website that I will have linked in the description, it's harrysvintagegarage.com, I believe is his other website. And then he also has classic EVO gauge in the Netherlands. Go check out the stuff they got on Street View. It's a lot nicer looking than America. Nice and clean roads. Roads you can drive down without, you know, losing teeth or your suspension. All right. Oh, okay. So it's got tabs that holds there, and then washer, duck washer, and a nut. Assemble nuts, but do not tighten. Yes, sir. I know why. It's because you want a little bit of adjustment. Also got me some cloth tape. I'm going to clean up the wire harness in the dash just a little bit. Not much. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this back down. Oh, I think that's on the next page as to why. Pull screen off. Okay, yeah, we already did that. Reinstall gauge cover. And yeah, you're like supposed to push this thing down all the way. But yeah, well, I've already got that here, so let me tighten the back up. And switch to this size for the one that the vibrator used to screw into. Now, ideally, with some of my wiring I already have here, because of the speedo and the tack. So actually, all my Smith's wiring is it's all here. I'll show you. Show you what I got. So this plug, put it where, this actually plugs into the tack. This wire I cut, that I'm going to not have a butt splice anymore, I'm going to have a better connector. That's coming from the coil. The hots for the tack and the speedo are these green wires, which they were right here on this terminal I broke loose. And then the ground is this black one, which same thing was on this one that I broke loose because someone didn't know how to assemble stuff. And then for the speedo, I actually, with Smiths, they had options. They had a cable end sensor. Yeah, it didn't work. They also, you know what, I'll just go grab it. Only grabbing it because I knew right where it was in the file cabinet. So this is just a GPS speedo sensor here. I think it's 5,000 pulses per mile. And this is where it got confusing. So I kind of wired them together. So I'd have a hot, the red was the hot, but the green's the hot here. Black is ground, and green was signal, which went to signal. So that was one way. So this way worked a little more reliable. And then I went to a actual speed sensor that reads the CV bolts. Works great up until about 50 miles an hour, and then it pegs the speedometer out. I got that from Bussaroo. Then found another kit. Where is that? So Go Westy had a kit, and I got it, and you're not. It was the exact same sensor as Bussaroo, like 100% identical. But the difference is, instead of reading the CV bolts, vehicle speed pickups that mount to the CV bolts. And then, take one out the bag here. It's probably the worst way to film, y'all. I'm sorry. So then, it would read these, basically, as it went by. So instead of reading the bolts that are closer together, it puts them a little further apart and a little longer. I have not put this in yet because I haven't got under there yet. But with this one, you just go in the programming, single button, 5,000 pulses. That's it, program. With these, you have to drive a mile, put in calibration mode, drive exactly 1 mile, hit the button, and let it calculate the pulses. Mixed results on all of them, but it's a working speedometer. I probably will be going back to the GPS unit. Just, it's easier. But I am going to test this one from Go Westy because I did buy it. All right. So we have assembled it. We have put it together. It is pushed all the way down. I'm going to do not tighten it. It is not 10 millimeter. What size is this? This is now 8 millimeter. But before I do all that, I am going to reassemble the gauge pod. I guess I'll put the little diffuser back in for the brights. Y'all, seriously, if y'all know who repops these gels, I would love to have a brand new one. Because, I mean, even putting it in exactly where it goes, yeah, it doesn't really land right. See, that's about the best I'm going to get it, and I still have visibility there. It's old. I mean, it's 52 years old? 54 years old? I don't know, what's 1974 to 2026? Do the math, somebody. See, it's just not going to go in there right. And it's not because I'm not doing it right. I mean, it's just not going to go in there right. It has shrunk. It's like a shrinky dink from 1980. Someone put it in the oven. This screwdriver, love this screwdriver. This screwdriver was bought for one purpose once upon a time. It's for adjusting the fuel mixture screw on a 34 pick 3. See, I'm still going to be able to see light around it, but I only see light around it when the oil light's on. So as long as I don't let my oil light come on, I'll be fine. I had to get an 8mm. All right, push that down. It's in there. Let's tighten it down. I'm not really going to crank on it. I mean, these are just for mounting. It's not like it's, you know, a ground or something. It's just holding it there. Hey, look, I got a handy box to hold tools. All right. Oh, supposed to use a socket. Use a wrench. Okay. Yep. Clean the glass from the inside. Reinstall it. Blah blah. Thank you. Tell me what sizes they are. Okay, and then I get a. Okay. Flip it around. Okay. Okay. It's done. Well, yeah. So that's it. So now. The rest of it's wiring. So I'm going to, and it's late. I don't know what time it is. I'm going to put this back together in the bus. I'm going to clean up my wiring here so I can just plug it in. And then I will be back when there's daylight tomorrow to finish filming the install. So, see you then. All right, we're back. It's 2 days later. Let's see if I can get in here and show you what I did. So I just have the brain sitting up here on the dash. Your wiring is the red goes to your original where your vibrator was. Let's see if I can get this in here better. The black goes to your ground cluster. And then your brown goes to your sender. Now what I've done for this is the sender I'm going to be using. It's just sitting on the dash, wired up. And it has a ground going to it. So I'm going to clip these in to the brain and fire it up. So let me get y'all in place here. We can see a little better. This is probably not what you're supposed to do, but oh well. Okay, that one's in. That one's in. So, let's move this down where it has a little bit more room here. I'll just put that in the dash. There we go. All right, let's fire it up. Key on. Okay, needle is moving now. We have movement. Full tank, huh? Let's move the sender and see what happens. And so it's backwards right now. So if you see how it lit up red, once I get done programming this, that means get gas. There should be an orange in there somewhere. But now I'm simulating a full tank. And it goes off. Alright, let's do the programming. Now that it has an empty tank. Well, it thinks it has an empty tank. Alright, I've connected that. I've done that. Oh yeah, heat shrink, whatever. Knock your brain around. Man, this is kind of weird. I have a almost functional fuel gauge. I just need to get it in the tank. Okay, I do not have the one with the dip switches. My instructions get out of order here. Ah, here we go. Programming is 2.0. Okay. So this is move gauge needle. Enter button. Move gauge needle. We're adjusting the fuel gauge. Turn the rotary switch to desired setting. Well, I don't have a small screwdriver. Let me go get that. That's what happens when you don't read the directions first. Okay. Use upper lower buttons to move to correct position. Okay. So, what the hell? One running in T2A or T2B. So early bay, late bay is 1. 2 is beetle mode. 3 is calibrate reserve. 4 is calibrate tank empty. 5 is full. 6, 7. Yeah, where's the abridged instructions? Completely drain the tank. Turn on. Switch number 8. Got it. Eight. Wait until needle is at position of empty tank and confirm empty tank with button in middle. Okay, it's blue now. Of course, that also means when you get down to above reserve. So I wonder if okay, so how do I get it to go down further? Enter. Okay, well, we'll play with that in a minute. With empty tank, the dial of the gauge will light up bright red. If meter runs out of reserve, the dial will no longer give LED indication. Yeah, we know that. Oh, sorry guys. I hope I haven't been filming the ceiling the whole time. So, let's put it back on 1. Okay, I'm still running backwards. Let me play with this a little bit. I will see y'all shortly. All right, we're back. Took some trial and error. I had to go through and program everything. And I run it in bus mode, but I had to calibrate the reserve, the tank empty, the tank full, and then that's on the gauge. So that's 3, 4, and 5. And then I had to calibrate tank 1 empty sender, tank 2 full on the sender. So now I have my sender sitting upside down, and let's turn the key on. So it will go through its startup, and now it's going to read where the sender is sitting, which you can tell my calibration's a little off. I still have to tweak that. So now let's take the sender and make it think we're out of fuel. And it goes into your red indicator. It is a little jumpy, but you know what? It's a functional full gauge in a late bay. So let's go ahead and give it just a little. So that would be sitting in reserve. It's me simulating the tank being filled. You want to see it's on my leg. I'm just turning it. let's gradually drain it. Like I said, it does have some delay to it, but I'm also going a little bit faster than what it can process it. Some point in here the light, the indicator goes orange before it goes red, but because I'm sitting out here in the sunshine, that could be orange, that could be red right there. Or when I translated something on the website from Dutch to English, it didn't translate properly. But there we go. I will say this is functional. Now I've got to swap my sending unit out and actually do the proper install and zip tie this in place in the dash, do some more tweaking. One thing I will tell you is when you do the programming on this, when you're done, power cycle your key. Turn your key off, turn it back on, and then wait for it to respond. And you see I've got it sitting upside down on the dash here, or ashtray. And see, it does act a little wonky, but that could be my temporary wiring I have in place. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely what it was. I was touching both terminals to the side of the ashtray. Put it up here on the dash. Yeah, when it's not touching metal on metal, everything's fine. So let's try. My fuel pump is going to be hating me. Seeing they're deadheading. You know what? Just for... let's start it. Now you're supposed to have suppression spark plug wires. I don't know what I have, but I will have suppression spark plug wires after some further upgrades are done. It could also be the wiring wrapped in this sender, because you know we can't get the best senders currently. Which I will talk about that here in a moment once I get the other sender out of the tank. Stay tuned. I'm going to shut all this down, put everything in here, zip tie this in place, and we're going to talk senders at the back of the bus. See you shortly. We're back. We got Gizmo out here helping. Hey, buddy. Okay, gloves are because I don't want vapor permeating my skin. So you see I've got the hole with the fancy bracket. I am going to link the video that I saw this in the seller that sells these. He did not have them available in his eBay store, but I messaged him and he got a batch ready and got them on the store. Also, if you have a Bali Yellow 74 bus, Krylon Citrus Green, 5.3, 570. It's a good enough match during the daylight, but man, when you take pictures at night or like on the camera here, you can see it. So the other thing, the template for this is most excellent. What happens is when you have a Joseph that gets impatient, yeah, this cut fine, this cut fine, this cut fine. The sender just went in the hole. See, there's bolts here. These were off, and this is off because, like I said, I got impatient. My seat was also in the way. You know, recommend removing the seat? Yeah, follow the recommendations. All right, let's get this sender out of here. We'll get the other sender out, and I'll show you the difference in these two. But before I do that, you can see, yeah, I got an angle. That's actually fine. This piece bolts down, no problem. Problem is the frame here. Oops. Let's see if I'm going to get lucky. Nope, I'm not going to get lucky. All right. Yep. Okay, we're going to get the sender out. We'll be back. now that we've got the cinder out, talk about the difference in these cinders. That O-ring's probably fine. See how this one is more like the original? And I don't know if you can see it right there. Let's see if I can get zoomed in on camera. Come on, camera. It is actually burnt. Right there. There is a burn mark on the wire. Like if it was sitting right there, it's burnt straight through the resistance wire. That's probably from the voltage regulator. I also never adjusted the tabs. This one is different. So instead of the resistance wire being in the middle, the resistance wire actually wraps around the outside. I don't know if it's a better design. We're going to say it is for now. And a lot more gas in there than I thought I did. All right. Get that bad boy down in there. So right now I have my tank full calibrated based off the cinder just being held upside down. I don't know how accurate that is, but once I go to the gas station and fill it up, we'll know. All right, I'm hooked up. This wire, front to back wire, had already been tested, so it was good. I gotta find I bought a bit to elongate these holes. They just need to be wallered out just a little, and I can get the bolts in. And then I can seal this up. So we're all put together. Now it's time to go up front and see. Let's see what it reads. Okay, here we are. We're in the front seat. Let's turn the key on. Okay, it's gone through all of its startup. Empty tank. What did Joseph do wrong? It'd be funny if I broke the new cinder. All right, we're all hooked back up again, and Gizmo, do not jump. Get up there in the front. Come on, let's go in the front. So it helps when you actually connect it up to the wire going to your sending unit, not the ground. All right, that is actually reading where it's at, but watch the startup. So we flip around, we go through our cycle, and then we go to where we're at. And look at that. Not only do I have a working fuel gauge, I didn't know I had that much gas. So here we go. Time will tell how this works out, but there's the installation. Thanks for watching. Gizmos, tell them bye.